Kia ora, Happy New Year, everybody. My computer is lagging a bit, so I hope it's okay at your end. Can you let me know that you are here and joining me and that it's not laggy at your end and that you can hear me okay? Because it certainly seems a bit laggy at my end, so not too sure what's going on there. I'll just make sure I shut down all of my other things that are going on. That will probably be the one that's doing it. All right. So how is everybody? Happy New Year to you all. Wonderful to be in 2022, and let's hope that it brings us a better year this year. So tonight, I hope you've got some gins ready. And this really is laggy. Okay, numbers are jumping up. Can you just let me know whether or not this is streaming okay for you all? Because it really looks laggy at my end. So I just want to make sure that my stream is okay. So whilst we are all jumping on, Happy New Year to you all, if you haven't already heard me say that. Very excited to be back. New year, new ideas, new everything. I love a new year. Who amongst the group is a crazy planner like me? Anyone? I spend the break between Christmas and New Year planning, and all my crazy plans get written down everywhere. And you probably know by now I have a lot of crazy plans, and so they're all written down. And I spend, sync is a little out. Yeah, I'm not too sure what's doing that. Okay, let's turn this one off as well and hope that that helps with it. It's very stilted at my end, which I'm not too sure why. So let's hope that it's not some internet issue or anything. Anyway, let's get on to business, shall we? Because I was just saying lots and lots of planning. And so there is lots of plans awry with suggestion, which we won't let the cat out of the bag, but they are definitely in motion. And this evening, we have got our live Q&A with our distillers. And so we are going to be meeting up with 3 of our distillers from the box. When we made the choice not to get Lovers Leap into that, because we are actually going to try and schedule a live tasting with Lovers Leap, because obviously some of you may not yet have your box, and so you may not yet have Lovers Leap. So what we've done is, hopefully you've had a chance to watch the pre-recorded tastings that I did with the distillers prior to Christmas and be able to be ready with your questions. Thank you for those of you who did drop their questions into the posts. And I know that some people can't make tonight's live, so they will be joining us. Well, they'll be watching the recording. Okay, now it looks like my entire system has... No, we're back again. It's really glitching at my end. Sorry, everyone. I can't see what is doing it. I've been doing a lot of video recording over the last few days, and so there is a lot of resource being used on my computer. So I'm just going to make sure that I shut everything down. Right, well, tonight it is your choice as to what you're drinking. We are going to be chatting very shortly with Wayne from Kaimai Distilling. We are going to then follow that with Andrew and hopefully Saskia as well from Humdinger. And then we will be chatting with Chris Reed from Reed and Reed Distillers. So it's an exciting evening and a little bit out of the ordinary for us. So for those of you that are just joining us, have just joined Suggestion, Discerning Gin Tasting Society. This is not our normal scheduled programs at all. Over Christmas, we made the decision to pre-record the tastings that we would normally do live, but we still wanted everyone to get a chance to chat with one another. The distillers absolutely love to chat with all of you, and we, of course, love you to have the opportunity to be able to chat with the distillers as well. So tonight we have got some questions that have been submitted. So thank you to all of you who submitted questions. And then obviously there's still the opportunity for you to be able to submit some questions whilst we're chatting to each of the distillers. So while we, Wayne is going to be on very shortly, but just whilst we're waiting for Wayne to join us, we're not actually waiting, I've asked him to join us at 7:45. So just whilst we are getting into things tonight, who wants to let me know what were their favourites out of the box? By the way, in case you're wondering, what do I have in my glass right now? I've actually got Wayne's gin, Eliza's Claim, the gold gin. So spectacular, wasn't it? With gold flakes in it. It's absolutely lovely. I'm sipping it with a little bit of soda tonight, which is really nice. I'm just, you know, with the heat and stuff like that, I think I'm needing a little bit more of a water intake. So it's pretty helpful to me to have the extra soda water in it as well. Yeah, so what's everybody's favourites? Let's see. Hi, Cordulan. Nice to have you joining us. It was all fabulous, but I am a total sucker for read and read. Oh, Chris will be very happy to hear that, definitely. Yeah, that read and read range is pretty special, isn't it? And I had no idea before I interviewed Chris that they had actually started as an export company rather than starting into the New Zealand market. And quite honestly, I thought that was so clever. What a clever strategy. So it's going to be great just to hear a little bit more about that, because I, for one, certainly want to know and understand a little bit more about that tonight as well. Yeah, and I know, Cordula, that you have had the read and read barrel aged. In fact, it was your recommendation that got me to try it, which is a beautiful drop, isn't it? So I saw in the Facebook group as well that Anne has been gifted a bottle by her wonderful husband for Christmas, so she gets to enjoy some as well. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, and you know, the gins were fabulous, absolutely fabulous. And I love that we sort of got it from all corners, and I loved how unique everybody's stories were as well. So yeah, very, very cool. And then tonight, if you're just joining us, tonight is just a live Q&A. So as far as what to drink for this evening, look, your call entirely. I was actually what I thought was quite clever. Hi, Dot. Nice to have you with us. Yeah, I thought I was quite clever in that when I did those tastings, or when I did the interviews, I actually saved the bottles. And so I've got a little selection of each of them. I've got probably half in each bottle left. Because for those of you who have yet to watch the videos of the pre-recorded tastings, they weren't live, you may or may not have heard that I actually had to do them at from 9 o'clock in the morning till 11 o'clock in the morning. And yeah, so I had to drink them quite early in the morning, which is not my normal style at all. In fact, probably the first time in my life I've ever drunk gin at 9 o'clock in the morning. But, you know, hopefully you didn't notice that. And so I'm just looking at these comments. I can't see who the Facebook user is. It says, I am on my new favourite from a few boxes back, the Gin Zoo. Is that the Juniper Gin? Whoever that is, I'll see that I can see on my phone who you are. Never go on your phone while you're on a live. My friend's just literally waving at me, which is quite funny to see. Okay, let's see. Oh, let's just turn that down. John, the gin zoo. I think that's the juniper gin, is it? Cordial enough. Nothing like a gin for breakfast. Well, we did hear about that breakfast martini a wee while back, didn't we? So, yeah, it's, yeah, I don't know. I have yet to try the breakfast martini. I have a funny feeling that if I drank a breakfast martini, I'd probably fall over for the rest of the day. So I'm a bit nervous about that one. But Cordula, please feel free to experiment with that. Being our resident martini expert, I'd be really happy to hear how it goes. John, it's wonderful to have you with us. I don't know whether this is your first live with us. If it is, welcome. Welcome to the Funny Farm. It will be a great little evening here this evening. So just as we get ready for Wayne to join us, he should be here with us in a few minutes, just want to let you know about how we're going to run this evening. And so we will be just spending 15 minutes is what I've allocated for each of the distillers, for them just to be able to chat with us. And I apologize that it's kind of short, but otherwise we'd all be here all night. And you know, I love to spend a lot of time with you guys, but I do also have other things that I need to get done. So yeah, absolutely. John saying, yes, have watched without comment a number of tastings. Well, welcome to the comment club, John. Love it. Love it. We always love comments. We love the interaction. As many of you know, I really wanted this to be live on camera where we could see one another and chat and stuff. But I also know that many of you are a shy bunch and you don't want to be on camera. So that's fair enough. We are working with this. And if you ever come to any of the members meetups, they are live and on camera. And they're always great to connect. And so just speaking of the members meetups, we did get to meet a few people in our celebration call that we had just prior to Christmas. You may have seen the record. Oh, no, you wouldn't have seen the recording of that, because one of the things I did say was that I wasn't going to record it if it's on camera. So you don't get to see the recordings of those ones. And yeah, we had a lovely time. We made French 75. So I thought that was a lovely time. And I hear through the Facebook community that I may have converted one or two of you to French 75s. So I'm quite delighted by that. That is a wonderful outcome in my mind. Those French 75s, for those of you who haven't tried them, it's kind of one of the sneaky reasons why we had Prosecco in our celebration box. And I've just seen Wayne join us, so I'll bring you in just a moment, Wayne. So we had the Prosecco in the box, and so we made French 75s. I like to just use Prosecco. Well, first of all, 30 mils of gin, 15 mils of lemon juice, and then top it up with Prosecco. That's how I like to do it. Some people will add sugar syrup or a sweet syrup to balance out that sourness of the lemon, but I think that the Prosecco balances it out fine. So there we go. Anyway, I can see that Wayne has joined us, so I'm going to add him into the stream. Hi, Wayne. Lovely to see you again.
Yeah, likewise, Sarah. Thanks.
Fantastic having you with us. And I took the liberty earlier this evening of sending to Wayne some of the questions that you guys had already posed. So we're going to do, as I said to you just before, we're going to do a little bit of a quick fire question and answer session. So it's going to be like, I don't know, a lottery, is it, Wayne? How many questions can you answer in 15 minutes? Let's see how you go, shall we?
Here we go.
Like a quiz show. So you will have seen, Wayne, there's been some fabulous feedback come back around Eliza's Gold. People love the story. They've loved the gold flakes through the gin. And, of course, they've loved the flavour of it. In fact, my husband had not tried it until this evening, and he does most of the bottling, and he said, "Oh, I smelled that one, but I don't think I've tried that one." And he comes rushing back in here and says to me, "That's really good, isn't it? That's a really lovely gin." So there you go. You even got the seal of approval from my husband. So
I'm really heartened the way it's been received, obviously. So,
Yeah, fantastic. So let's get into some of these questions, Wayne. So you probably would have seen, and I think I warned you of this prior. Our members
yes.
always like to know, what do you use as your base spirit? So what is it that you're using as your base spirit?
So I use a wheat and sugar-based wine that I make myself and I distill myself from scratch. So it's a sort of a grain to glass thing. I started out using that at home um, when I didn't even know it was a thing to use whey alcohol or any of those. And when we went commercial, I pondered it for a moment and I thought, no, I like that it's all mine from start to end. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I love that too. And it means that you get a lot more control. And
Yes.
I also think as well, I don't know whether the members will agree, please chime in and say, but I actually think that really makes a difference to the end product as well. And we're certainly tasting it with the Eliza's Gold. It's beautiful, really beautiful.
Yeah. So I think so, and I think it's because the botanicals were built to suit the style of the base. You know, so our base is by the time it goes into the bottle, it's been distilled 4 times. So
Mm.
it's I control that all the way. Um, and if I'm not happy at one of the stages, then I just do it again until I am. Because it does have a big influence. Um, yeah, and I've got no plans to change. No,
Yeah, no, don't
no.
change a good thing, Wayne. Don't change a good thing. Okay, so where do you source all your rosemary from? Do you grow it yourself?
Yes, I grow it
Who that
myself.
grows it?
Sorry. Yeah, I grow it. Yeah, I grow it at home. I grow it at the pub. We have got rosemary plants all around the pub now. So I've had to sort of I'm generating my own feedstock, should we say?
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
Again, being able to control that source, right?
Well, yeah. There's no spray on it. There's no. I know where it's come from. I watch the little plants every morning as I walk around, and yeah, okay, we're good. We're good. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Absolutely awesome. One of our members was very obviously listening very carefully. And their question is, you said you started distilling because you had a lot of access to fruit. Do you still have access to that fruit? And if so, how do you use it now?
Yes, I still have access to that food, and I use that for my own personal benefit. So I make a lot of brandies at home: Fijo, plums, normal grape brandy, yeah, yellow plums. Yeah, I love playing with fruit, and I do have plans to bring that into the distillery. But yeah, I have some work to do before I can do that. Kiwi fruit is one of my favorites. Kiwi fruit
And is
makes
that a
an
brandy as well?
I beg your pardon?
Is that a brandy as well?
Yes, yeah. So anything made with fruit without anything else in it is a brandy. Traditionally we think is brandy coming from France or Africa is a purely grape-based product, but it's not. You can make brandy out of pretty much anything, and if you're careful, you can really carry across the flavor of the fruit. Feijoa is another one. Even though that's quite polarizing, you either like Feijoa or you don't. But if you do, you will love Feijoa brandy.
Yeah. And we always say that if you love, you either love it or you hate it, don't you, with Fijoa?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So I love it.
Okay. Cordial on to you, Wayne. She's asking, is there a yellow plum gin on the way? That sounds a little different.
There are so many things that I would love to do, and certainly something along those lines I think would be great. But I've had to temper my enthusiasm for new products to sort of, I can see it. I can see something like that, but it's probably a year away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that's really unique to your situation as well is that you're running the pub as well. So some would say you've got a captive market as well from the pub.
So, well, yes, and I do use that to my benefit. I do have one or two other bottles of gin on the shelf, but I don't really push them very hard. Um, and well, I mean that's why I went to the pub in the first place, because I wanted a sort of a front of house, a place that I could
Mm.
engage with people and yeah. So yes, I do have a captive market. Yes, I do use it to my own benefit, shamelessly, but I'm the
I love it. I absolutely love it. Um, and then what in terms of, have you got plans to increase the capacity of the distillery, in the future?
Oh yes, we do. I, I sort of think the first year was a proof of concept. I thought I was taking, and my wife certainly I thought I'd lost my mind. Uh, chucking up a really good job and starting out a distillery. Um, but the first year's gone well. So yes, we've expanded. We've just bought a new big fermenter, a whole lot of extra equipment, a new little building, and that's I think is just the first stage. We've got some ground there that we would really like to use and create an operating but visitor friendly distillery.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once again, that takes time, but we've started the consenting process and so on. I suppose one of the decisions is how big do we want to go? And
Yeah.
at the moment, it's very personal, and I don't want to lose that. So I'm very mindful all the time that of doing things and buying equipment that's going to make my life easier. But I don't ever want to lose that hands-on, every bottle's gone through me sort of thing. So there's going to be a limit, and I'm not quite sure where that is, but I will know well before it comes, and I'll stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I really understand that philosophy of wanting everything to go through you and have that personal touch.
Well, it's a craft gin. If I start tuning up thousands of bottles a month, then it's not a craft gin anymore in my mind.
Mm.
Um,
Mm. Yeah.
yes. So yeah.
So maybe if we call into the pub, we might get to try some of your famous brandy.
I'm not yet, but certainly after this fruit season, yes. Yeah.
Oh, and maybe a couple of sneaky different gins that are under the counter somewhere.
Oh no, but you may be surprised by an amazing rum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's very
Yeah.
cool. Okay,
The- the-
and one of the other questions that we had was how have those gins and the craft beers that you've been making been received by the pub regulars? Like, was there a real culture shock when you kind of moved in and said, "Hey, this is what we're doing now"?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So, I mean, it really was a bit of a working man's pub. When we took over there, and the first thing I did was change all the beers on the tap. I built a bit of a relationship with a brewer who's probably about the same size as I am relatively. So I put some really great craft beers on, and the locals watched and thought, what's he doing? Because obviously there's a cost consequence. So, I mean, I kept the staples, Waikato and Spates on the two taps on the side for those who won't change. But it's quite interesting watching the initial sort of groans and gripes and about the price, and suddenly they realize that, gosh, it actually tastes quite good. So it's worth that extra dollar or two for for a handle of good beer as opposed to just you
Yeah,
know what I mean.
yeah.
Um,
And I
and
imagine the head feels a little better the next morning as well.
yes, probably, yes, probably. And I think, well, obviously, the idea of a distillery was met with tremendous skepticism. But now they sit at the locals table and they watch people wandering in and buying a bottle and so on, and they can see it's working. So it's made a big difference to the pub and to me and to the, I guess, the culture of the place. I think they're quite proud of it, even though some of them won't admit it.
Oh, I love that. I love that, you know, and
Yeah,
it is. It makes the pub a destination place for sure, doesn't it?
and
I know,
that's the intention. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I know
Yeah.
many of the members are saying, I'm definitely going to call in.
Yeah.
And there was actually a couple of people that may have called in over Christmas, because I did recommend to a couple of people to call in. And so
we've had
yeah.
so many people coming in. It's great. Yeah, and interestingly, there's and I don't know where it comes from, but you may have heard of JoJo's Gin Tour.
No.
Yeah, so I hadn't either until last night, and one of my friends came upon a map of JoJo's Gin Tour where she's mapped out some of her favorite gins. I don't know who this woman is, but there we are. Eliza's Claim Gold Gin is on that little map. I really have to
Yay.
who she is and thank you, but yeah. So
Oh, that's fantastic.
yeah, so news is traveling, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And it will certainly be featured on Suggestions Gin Tours, that's for sure. Because I definitely want to call down and see the pub. So yeah, absolutely.
I look so forward to that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got a couple of comments for you, Wayne, coming through. Cordial is saying, hats off to you, Wayne, for wanting to keep that personal touch. Absolutely love it. Dot agrees. She says, I think the personal touch would be called artisan, someone who translates passion into a craft art of producing a product that catches the attention of the discerning. Well described.
That.
That is lovely.
Okay, there we go.
Yes. And then finally, we have a question from, I believe this will be John. John saying, advertise your pub or location, please. So the floor is yours, Wayne. Give us where it is. How do we get to you?
Yes, so we're in the Waikino pub. We're between Paira and Waihi in Waikato. So if you're traveling from Auckland down to Tauranga, you go right past the front door. Yeah, State Highway 8541, State Highway 2.
8541 State Highway 2, everybody. Put
That's
it
us.
into your GPS on your phone and travel there in the weekend.
So before we end, I'd like to introduce somebody. Yes. Oh, no, sorry. I wanted to introduce my wife, but she's got...
she doesn't want to.
She's
camera
shy.
Oh.
So she's really she's been such a tremendous help. And I would just like to recognize that she's been really part of this journey. And Kath is also there bottling and labeling and tasting and tasting.
Oh, wow. Absolutely. Well, thank you, Kath, for your contribution. We totally appreciate it as well. And Wayne, thank you so much for joining us for that quick Q&A. You got through all your questions, so congratulations to you, my friend. That was well done.
There we go. I'm a man of few words.
And look, we look forward to having another one of your gins in one of our boxes really soon, because I know that everybody's pretty keen to taste what else you have available. But You've also got a few people that are going to be stopping in by the look of it. John says that that's a regular motorcycle route for him. So when
yes.
John calls in, John, go and introduce yourself to Wayne, won't you?
Yeah, and I'm there. Yeah. Just ask for me. If I'm not at the bar, I'll be around somewhere. Maybe making gin.
Yeah, Dot saying thank you. I think it's worth a club run down your way. So it sounds like you might have a few coming your way soon.
That's great.
Fantastic. All right, thank you so much, Wayne. It has been fabulous having you join us for our wee Q&A. And we look forward to keeping in touch and seeing what's next coming out of Kaimai.
Thank you so much for the invite. Thank you for listening to me. And take care of yourself. I look forward to meeting you, Sarah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, see you, Wayne. Okie dokie. Okay, I'm doing all right. My computer's still glitching, so I hope that I'm coming through okay. Next up, we're going to have Andrew from Humdinger. And I'm going to bring Andrew on right now, and we'll see how Andrew does on our quiz challenge, shall we? Hey,
Good evening,
Andrew.
everyone.
Nice to
How's
see
things?
you.
Oh, sorry,
So,
is there a bit of a delay, or you can hear me all
there
right?
might be. It's not at your end, it's at my end.
Okay, we'll just go with the flow.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. I can't fix it anymore, which is a bit of a problem. And for me, it's very distracting because I lip read, and so oh, more ice. Thank you. I appreciate that.
There it is.
Magic, more ice. Yeah, so it's very distracting because I lip read and it's all over the show tonight. Anyway, let's get on with these quick fire questions, because I also sent some questions through to Andrew earlier on and said to him, here's some of the things that our members want to know about. Now, obviously, Andrew, you got some really great comments as well. People love your gin. They love seeing what you and Saskia are up to. We loved the whole collaboration that's going on in Geraldine. We think that's amazing. So first question that we've got is around the use of barley and whether that's going to be celiac okay.
So fortunately, we use barley in our botanical bill, and that doesn't mean that the gluten comes over into the gin, fortunately. So the gluten's really heavy and it doesn't vaporize. So essentially, when we're getting all the nice flavors distilling through the still, the gluten stays in the pot, doesn't make it into the final product. So really, really lucky there. Just like the same with whiskey, or anyone using barley or a grain to distill from, which is cool. Really cool.
Absolutely. And I can attest to that. I think that's Anne that's asked that. I can attest to that because I have an immediate reaction if I have anything with gluten in it. So no reaction to your gin, of course. You saw me drinking it at 9 o'clock in the morning or whenever it was. So tonight I'm having it with just straight soda because I was saying to everybody I'm drinking everything with straight soda tonight because it's hot and I'm thirsty, and so I need a little bit of a longer drink than just a sip. All right, so what else have we got? Oh, the big question. They'd love to hear the story about how you and Saskia got into gin distilling, because I don't think I asked you that.
No, I don't think we did talk about it. So I don't know. It wasn't really one event that led to us wanting to start a gin distillery. It was kind of a whole lot of things mixing around in the pot that eventually led us to take the leap. So naturally, we're really hands-on people that love making products. We've come from the dairy industry where we love commissioning factories and getting hands-on with the equipment, and maintenance days mean jump into the plant and see it while it's all open and learn about it. So naturally, we're like those type of people. Geraldine's got one of the country's top cheesemakers in the country, so it's not a good town to live in and want to start a cheese factory. We love drinking gin. Gin's popular. And we love the equipment as well. So we were in Canada before COVID, luckily, and we'd kind of floated the idea of starting a gin distillery. It was actually at Saskia's brother's wedding. I mean, we're floating all these ideas around for a long time, and I floated the idea of a gin distillery after reading a book about gin palaces, I think it was. And it was the first idea that Saskia's dad said yes to. And I've got a lot of respect for him. And when he said yes, I was like, hold on, he's never said yes to any idea before. There must be something behind this. So we kind of kept thinking about it, went to Canada, visited a few distilleries and just fell in love with them. The equipment, the whole range of spirits and gins and everything you can make. It was really romantic. And we thought, yeah, we can give that a crack. And from there, I think we were using public Wi-Fi in a park in Canada when we said, yes, let's do this. Registered a company, registered Humdinger. It was actually Geraldine Distillery, a little bit more boring, came to Humdinger later. But yeah, so it was lots of different reasons that all led to it. And another reason that was in the mix was we were planning on starting a family. We've now got an 8-month-old. So we wanted the flexibility that comes with having your own business. I mean, Saskia came down for lunch today. We enjoyed lunch together while Mariella was awake. And I mean, we couldn't do that if we were still out on site. So we can do that, which is really, really cool. And that's everything that we wanted, really.
Yeah, really neat, eh? So previous to that, what were you doing? You were farming?
So I was at Fonterra, and Saskia is currently on maternity leave at Fonterra. The big question come May, when 12 months of maternity leave is up, is does she come to Humdinger or does she go back? I know what I want, but it's not my decision. So we actually worked, our last big piece of work was building and commissioning the new mozzarella factory at a local Clean Du Bois site. We're both on the commissioning team, getting this massive $200 and whatever million factory up and running. When there was huge pressure and the board and things, there was a lot of pressure, but we loved working together and it all worked. And yeah, we thought we can work together, we can keep being hands-on and stuff like that. So
yeah, and so neat. Neat. Cordial is saying, Andrew, I adore your passion. It's absolutely amazing. And isn't it? Like, it was so fun interviewing Andrew before Christmas. I really, really enjoyed it.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, Cordial.
What else have we got here? The base spirit question. I told you it would come. I'm pretty sure I warned you on this one. This question always comes up. What's your base spirit? Do you distill it yourself?
So our base spirit is neutral cane spirit or sugar cane, and we don't distill it ourselves. We wish we could get a base spirit from New Zealand. I mean, just be much more preferred, but we played around with a few different bases, and the one that worked best for the flavor profile we wanted to make was neutral cane. So that's what we use. Yeah. And it's actually the same base as a lot of big distilleries that I also love their gins. So yeah, it's a palate choice for us, which is neutral cane.
Yeah, cool. Which, I think there'll probably be a few people out there thinking, why did you not go whey based, given your history with Fonterra?
We tried the whey. It's just as clean, just as pure, but it does have a different mouthfeel, we find, which for the types of gin we were wanting to make didn't work best. For other gins, like if you're using Kawakawa and Horopito, the whey is really good. It complements those flavors. Or if you're looking for a little bit of that peppery sharpness, but for us, we wanted more of a mellow gin, which is where cane comes better.
Fantastic. Super fantastic. Okay, then how did you get nutmeg into your gin?
All the best ideas come from Saskia, like the use of barley. Hopefully she can talk to the citrus gin when that pops up in your box, because it was her idea to use barley based on this really cool idea she had. I'm pretty sure nutmeg was one of her ideas as well. She loves that I don't know, Christmassy, spicy kind of flavor that comes with it. It might be her Dutch heritage, I'm not sure.
Yes.
But yeah, started playing with nutmeg and it just worked really, really well. It's a really potent one, so you do need to be careful with it. Not as potent as the likes of cardamom, which is super intense and crazy. And I avoid it because it's hard to play with. But yeah, nutmeg's just a flavor that we played with and worked really, really well.
Nice.
And I think someone asked, like, how do we use it? So with some botanicals, because they are so potent, you don't use like a whole nutmeg, because you don't get the whole all of the flavor out, and you don't get a consistent batch to batch. So we grind it so it's in pretty much a powdered form when it goes into the still, and that's just so it's nice and consistent between batches, and we've got all of the flavor out, so we're not wasting any, essentially.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Dot saying nutmeg is what I think goes into eggnog. This is grog, she says.
Yeah, I think that's right.
That is right, Dot. They put it in eggnog. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then very practical question about the slow gin that you spoke about. Obviously, there was lots of interest in the slow gin, so we all need to know, is it out?
So this is what we call the 2021 vintage. This is the one that sold out in 3 days.
Right.
So this one is actually for Ash Palmer from 8 p.m. when I do like a 2-monthly update to all of our bottle stores and people that we wholesale to.
Yes.
And I said, sorry, we're not wholesaling this because we've only got 130 bottles. So we'll sell it ourselves, and hopefully in 2 years, when all of our new slow trees are online, hopefully we can get it around a few bottle stores then. And Ash emailed back straight away saying, can I have one personally when he orders his next case or whatever? I'll sneak this in the top. So thanks, Ash, for not grabbing it yet, because it means I've got something to show here.
So when does the release of Slow come out next? Just so that our members know to get their names down.
It'll be around spring when it's ready. So the tradition is you pick the slow berries after the first frost. So that'll be late March, early April. We'll pick the slows, then we'll start steeping it in our dry gin. Then it's between 3 and 6 months, depending how the flavour develops. You pull it out, balance it with sugar syrup, which is really nerve-wracking because once you've added the sugar syrup, you can't take it back out.
Yeah.
So there's, that's a nervous moment. And you kind of give a few people a few samples after that saying, have we got it right? And if they say no, I mean, you can't do anything about it, right? Apart from add a little bit more if you need it. Yeah. So it'll be around spring, it'll be ready. So Facebook or Instagram is where we announce at the moment when that's ready. So that's just humdinger.nz. Or we're hoping to have a newsletter online or some way of pre-ordering. I'm a little bit nervous because I want people to have the opportunity to buy it. So I don't want to open a pre-order system at this stage and then have it all kind of sold out before people have seen it or had the chance. So I need to think of a way that's nice and fair for that, because the feedback after this year was awesome. Yeah, everyone loved it.
Oh, that's so good. So good. Now, you may have picked up on the fact that Andrew also just let everybody know that Humdinger Citrus is also coming to you.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine, Andrew, because most people on this call, I believe, already have their box. So they've probably already ripped it open and very excited. Cordial is saying to you, you could give suggestion members first dibs on the slow gin. So just a suggestion there, from our members.
Yeah. Might be able to sort something out.
Oh, there we go. So we will be hearing from Andrew and Saskia, hopefully. Andrew and or Saskia. Hopefully we get both of them.
Yeah.
For our live tasting. I think Russell's hopefully been in contact with you on the dates, Andrew.
Not yet, I don't think.
Okay, we'll get onto that tomorrow.
It'll be interesting to see what you think of the citrus gin, because like the dry gin is my baby. This is my recipe. And because Saskia's had a young one to look after and been breastfeeding, she hasn't been drinking for a long time. So I've refined my recipe a lot more than she has refined hers, to the point where the most recent competition, we got a gold medal for our dry gin at the New Zealand Spirits Awards. The same judges gave her citrus a bronze, her less refined citrus a bronze, but when people taste it in the shop, we sell far more citrus than we do dry. But in bottle stores where people don't try, we sell more dry than we do citrus.
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting.
I can see that, having tasted both of them as well. I mean, don't tell Andrew, but I really like the citrus.
I'm used to it.
No, and I love the dry as well. I really do. Oh, sorry. Now I've gone into witness protection plan.
But it demonstrates one of the challenges as a distiller is, who do you design your gins for? Do I design it for myself? Do I design it for judges, or do I design it for consumers? Because everyone has different palates, different perceptions. Yeah, that's one of the ongoing challenges.
So, Andrew, it's such a pleasure once again to talk to you, and I'm looking forward to our session next month. I'm going to leave the last question for next month, because I'm hoping that you'll do a little bit of work on this last question, so then you have some really good news to tell us. And that last question, just so to keep everybody hanging until next month, is, can we expect to see a collab with Barker's? So we're going to leave that one in Andrew's capable hands and see what he comes back with next month. Challenging.
Fantastic question. Yeah, it's popped up a few times, that question. Yeah.
Oh, very good.
We'll leave it until next month.
Yes, let's discuss that next month. Absolutely. So lots of love and support from our members coming through this evening. Congratulations on the award, says Dot.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Lots of people saying that they would love to be on the priority list. So for the slow gin. So yeah, it's generating a whole lot of interest. And once again, Andrew, congratulations. What a wonderful, wonderful gin. I've certainly enjoyed sipping this, and I've heard a lot of comments from our members that they've really enjoyed it as well. In fact, at the beginning of this call, I actually asked our members what was their favourite gin out of the box, and people are struggling to say because they just really have enjoyed a lot of the gins in the box. But yeah, it just shows the pedigree of our gin industry here in New Zealand, and it's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. Fantastic gins coming out of everywhere around the country, which is really, really cool. Daunting, but exciting at the same time.
Well,
so, yeah.
Keeps you on your toes,
everyone, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, Andrew, we will see you next month. I will be onto that tomorrow, and I'll schedule a time with you. Well, either that or Russell will be in touch tomorrow and schedule a time with you.
Sounds good. Thank you very much for all of the feedback, the kind words, and thanks for the opportunity.
Oh, you're really welcome. We'll see you next month.
Catch you later.
All right, almost to time. I'm going to have to apologise to Chris in just a moment when we bring him on because I'm 2 minutes behind. And as a facilitator, I hate being behind time on these things. So let's get ready and prepared. Who's got their, I'm just going to finish my little sip and make sure I give myself a little drop of Read and Read, the native gin. And let's bring Chris on. And hey, Chris, how are you?
I'm good. Nice to see you again.
Tonight? Yeah. I didn't expect you to go to the distillery for it.
No, I'm a bit too far away.
So I apologise if I'm a bit glitchy tonight. I'm not too sure what's going on. Oh, good. The ice delivery's just arrived. Thank you. This is great service here. So, yeah. So I apologise if I'm a bit glitchy. I'm not too sure what's going on with my system. But I think actually what's going on is my camera is literally trying to go on strike because I've been videoing all day. So, in fact, for the last 2 weeks. So let's get into some of these questions. I did pre-send through some questions to Chris prior to this. But please feel free to pop more in the comments and we'll see whether we get through them all in our wee 15 minutes that we have together. So the big question that I'm pretty sure I would have primed you for is, what's your base spirit? Do you distill it yourself? That's always the one that our members love to know.
Oh, yeah. No, we are Fonterra Way based. Yeah.
And I wondered that when I was actually saying to Andrew just before, who used to work for Fonterra.
Yeah.
And I wondered whether you guys were using Fonterra Way. So interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, we really liked it. We trialed sugarcane and everything else, and our focus is definitely Kiwi, and especially for our export markets, it's actually a real point of difference. Not many markets. Most markets we're using barley based or sugarcane based, or for example Australia using wine base, and it's a real point of difference to talk about using what is essentially a waste product and using it in a using it for a valuable purpose,
and something that's so uniquely Kiwi as well. So drawing into that whole positioning that you already have around being that real Kiwi brand and Kiwi gin in those export markets, I imagine that has aligned really nicely to your whole brand profile.
Yeah, that was a big part when we started, was focusing on promoting New Zealand as a gin producing country, because historically, when we first started, there was very few distilleries in New Zealand, and then we ended up starting off export. and yeah, we had to have that point of difference because, yeah, no point selling in London in London.
Exactly. And I loved that comment you made when we did the interview. And it's obviously perked a lot of our members' interests and ears up as well, because we've got a few questions around that. So, you know, how did you manage to get into the export market all those years ago? And then I guess, well, actually, I'll give you a chance to answer that and then we'll follow on from there.
Relatively easily. My background's in the wine industry. So, you know, I worked in Europe, I worked in the States, and so I had connections within the wine industry. Also, it helped. So, for example, in the UK, my brother was based in Edinburgh. So he was able to facilitate that. He then moved to Australia and then was able to sort out our duty-free distribution and Australian distribution. And then a friend of mine in Japan who's in the wine industry, he set up the distribution for us over there. So it's just done through contacts. So
wow.
And it was actually the easiest way for me. I was still full-time winemaking when we first started it. So it was actually easier for me to send a pallet over to the UK than it was to really go out and try and sell in New Zealand.
Yeah, exactly. And so what was the point where you decided, actually, we do need to do the New Zealand market? Was that just waiting for the New Zealand market to catch up?
Yeah, it was really difficult, the New Zealand market. You know, we started selling late 2015, 2016. So it would have been Lighthouse Gin, Broken Heart, Rogue Society, now Scapegrace. So there was only a very small portion of distilleries out there. So when we would go around to bars and on licenses and stuff like that, people would say, "Oh, you know, there's not really a market for it." I had one bar person told me that gin was bar owner tell me that gin was sold 5 years ago, and where it was rum. You know, not knocking rum, but yeah, in my head I was like, yeah, you have no idea, mate. You have no idea what's coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so it was quite frustrating, and financially it was really difficult. You know, it took me 3 years to go full time. So then having to distill and then also go around and do sales. This was before we had distribution, and then also trying to get a distributor. So yeah, trying to show distributors that, you know, you have enough sales and that the market is there for it. So, and it's typical of New Zealand, to be honest. Like, you know, you look at the beer industry, you look at the wine industry, it has been very similar. So basically I just copied what happened in the beer industry, and yeah, that's sort of what my philosophy on it was.
And do you ever, you know, so like, obviously a lot of your business is in export. Do you ever think that New Zealand will sort of catch up to that?
Sorry, say again?
Do you ever think that New Zealand will catch up to the export side of your business in terms of volume?
I think exports won't be a huge player, to be honest, in for the New Zealand spirit. Well, certainly not gin industry. You know, they're like breweries. You know, you look at Melbourne, for example. When we first started going into Melbourne, there would have been 2 distilleries in Melbourne. Now, you know, there's 20 odd.
One on every port, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like craft breweries. So and there's more of a local movement within. It's not like, say, where you can only wine.
You're breaking up a little bit, Chris.
Sorry. You can't produce beer or gin.
Oh, we're losing you a little bit here. Coming back through. There we go. I think we're starting to get you back. Yep. I think we might have lost Chris for a moment. Let's hope his internet reconnects for him and we get him back. I think we're losing Chris, says Cordula. Yes, I think we lost Chris. Hopefully he'll be back in a second as he just gets back online. Here he is.
Hello.
There we go. Oh, no, we lost him again. Dot saying she also had problems today on the cell phone. Yeah. Blimmin' internet every so often. Here we go. Let's add Chris back in. Here we are. We're back again. Yay.
Rural internet. It's always very good.
I know. We once did, and some of our members that have been with us for a while will remember we did a live tasting with Papaka Road, who are out of Whangarei. Yeah. Yep. So they're kind of, we would call it the Wops in Auckland, but we don't say that to other people. But
is it derogatory, is it?
yeah, apparently. So it was quite a challenge. They had their camera going and they had to have their sound coming through their phone, which was on my desk with my phone, so then we could get the sound through. It was funny, but it was a great tasting still. So yeah.
Where was I ranting at?
You were just talking about the export market versus the New Zealand market. And just like how that's gonna, whether you think that will catch up.
For us, massively. We are now massively more towards domestic market than we are export. Our export market has not really grown significantly. It's pretty much stayed. Last year was our biggest year, but not like the numbers we're seeing in New Zealand. So certainly the New Zealand gin scene has grown hugely, like everywhere in the world. So I think for us as a business, our focus is definitely on the New Zealand market rather than export, especially when we can't travel overseas.
Well, it does make it a challenge, and logistics are an issue as well at the moment, aren't they?
That's my biggest. Running out of juniper, running out of bottles, all our packaging. Unfortunately, New Zealand doesn't produce any of this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It's we're basically buying 3 times as much packaging and juniper and everything than we previously would. So cash flow wise, it's not so good.
No. I think a lot of us are having to stockpile in that area because we just can't be sure of supply, can we? So there was a question around juniper actually. Have you or are you exploring growing your own juniper?
So we got a few trees which we've planted. I'm looking to plant a few more. We've got a fair bit of land. But it's more of a time thing. It's a tree basically. It is a tree. It's conifer. So the amount of time to grow them and to produce enough, we would go through close to a ton of juniper a year. So
wow.
And they're very prickly trees. So to pick a ton of juniper would take a very long time.
Yeah. You need one of those machines like they have in Seville. Have you seen those where they come into, it's like a council machine, and they come into all the orange trees that they've planted on the streets, and they wrap like this tent.
Oh, like they do with the olive groves and shake them.
Yeah. And they wrap it around the orange tree, and then the machine shakes the orange tree, and all the oranges fall into the canvas, and then they just tip it up, and off they go with all the oranges. It's phenomenal to see. You'll need something like that, like a shaking thing, so then you can get them all to hopefully fall off and not prickle you in the meantime. Yeah. So one of the other questions we had is that, people were really recognizing from our interview is that local ingredients are really important to you and your brand. How long did you experiment until you found the right balance of ingredients, and what was your biggest surprise along the way? I love this question. I think it's great.
A lot of time. So we started the idea of starting the distillery sort of around 2013. So my brother and I were exchanging recipes, just basically the base of the gin. So getting that core gin structure. So we would exchange recipes. He was still in Edinburgh and I was in New Zealand, and we would just sort of swap and make sure that we were on the sort of right flavor profile. And then obviously my brother didn't have New Zealand botanicals. So the first point was we needed botanicals so that we could get all year round, because there's no point. Business-wise, it doesn't make sense. And we wanted things that we could sort of get more locally. So Manuka is everywhere, and same with sort of Kawakawa. A little bit of Hotopeto, but we actually now have to buy in a bit of Hotopeto, just because it's it doesn't like the dry conditions here. And so they were the sort of the ones that we sort of played around with, and I think we probably had at least 50 different recipes that we were sort of playing around with. But then you put it on a big still, and it tastes nothing like what you have on your pot still at home. And the biggest learning curve with that one was with Kawakawa. When we had it on the little stills, it worked well, but we were putting my first try on the big still was I put it into the Kawakawa directly into the pot, and then did the distillation, and it ended up with this sort of cooked spinach character. It's good. It's very leafy, it's very green, and it was too extractive. So instead of getting that nice sort of bush, that basil-y pepperiness you get, it was that, but with spinach.
Oh, delicious.
The first batch got ditched. So then we went to more of like a tea method, so steeping it in a bag and then taking the Kawakawa out, which worked significantly better.
Oh, well done.
But I just love, like, for me, savory characters is what I like. So that's what I really like about the New Zealand botanicals, is they aren't super oily. I don't like big oily gins. I find them, it's like a big hoppy beer or a big oaky Chardonnay. It's just like there's no finesse to it. There's no complexity to it. It's just in your face. I
love a big oaky Chardonnay.
Oh no. Old school.
I am. But I like complex big oaky Chardonnays, in my defense. So I don't know whether you
I'm not going to tell you what to like. If you like it, then go for it.
Exactly. But I like things that I like smoky oaky Chardonnays and stuff like that. Weird stuff that is unusual for people's palates. What have we got coming through? Spicy taste coming through. Wow, says Dot. So Dot, are you just opening your box right now? Because I have to applaud you for your restraint, is what I have to say. Far out. That's amazing. I think this is John. He said that there's a Popeye sales profile with your spinach flavor. You could do a little Popeye play on it. Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
well, I think there's a distillery in the UK who did a asparagus gin.
Oh, I don't know how I feel about that. Did you try it?
No.
No, I don't know. I mean, even there's one around that is out of the UK as well. That's a celery gin, and even that I can't.
Celery seeds are aromatic and interesting. Like if
you use think that's what it is? Celery seeds.
Yeah, in Holland, through Glengarry's Hancock's, do a. So it's a classic. Just got a celery high time.
We're just trying to pick up your every second word now, Chris. You're breaking up just a little bit. Yeah, you're almost back.
Almost?
Yeah, there we go. Now you sound back. That's good. We're getting some great comments through here. So Culture is saying, Chris, I love the combination of business sense, bravery, and appetite for adventure and exploration that you both have. It's absolutely superb.
Cheers, Courtney.
But okay, and then Cordula's also followed up with, but I am a bit of a read and read addict, and we do know this about Cordula. She is very passionate. She's very passionate about your barrel-aged gin, I can tell you that. So, and then Cordula follows it up and says, I've tried the celery gin. It's awful. Okay, that's good to know. Thank you, Cordula, because I couldn't even get past the title of it. So there was no way I was even going to try it. So, yeah. Okay, so maybe they didn't use the seeds, Chris. Maybe they used the actual body of the... it's awful.
Good a red snapper.
What was that?
Good in a red snapper.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd just rather just add a stick of celery and then I can control how much celery I get in it. Yeah, definitely.
Fair enough.
Definitely. All right. Last question for you. What's next? What's next from Read and Read? What can we expect?
At the moment, our focus is on the production side, so trying to maintain production and make things. And yeah, sort of focus. I don't want to clean out too many gins. I want to be making all the time that out of purpose. So am I still here?
No, I think we might need to get you to repeat that. We got streamlining production as a overhead kind of topic.
Yeah. So just trying to make the sort of garden gin, which is quite important to me. So growing botanicals and just sort of using plants that I like, and that's the side that I'm quite keen to but I'll do it all, once, a couple thousand bottles. That's it.
Okay, so I'm going to summarize what I captured from that because I think I got the gist of it. Cordula, however, thinks that this is just some sort of strategy to keep it all a mystery from us. But I surmised from that, correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, that you've got a garden gin in the making and it's going to be a relatively small batch, a couple of thousand litres is what I heard.
Yep, we've done first. Oh, we've done the second one, so we've done 2 of the guns so far.
Cordula, you might be right. Maybe we're not meant to hear this. I think it's come through. All right, so we've got a garden gin to look forward to. Is that what we're hearing, Chris?
Kind
Oh, hang on. Cordula's saying it's already out. The garden gin is outstanding. I've already gone through 2 bottles. Okay, how have I missed this? And Cordula, why have you not told us? I did not know that. Okay.
It's sold out.
It's sold out. Right. Okay, so I can't even get some if I wanted to. Hey, Cordula, hook us up with a little glass of garden gin, will you? That'd be lovely. Reverse, like reverse. Yes, Dot's saying the tech gremlins are at work. They certainly are this evening, aren't they? I'd like to report, though, that my lag seems to have fixed itself finally as we get towards the end of the call. We'll get there eventually. I might just do that, Cordula. Yes, in fact, there is a trip on the cards, so you may see me in your neck of the woods. Okay, and now, Chris, one last question from me, which is around your tasting bar that you opened. I believe it's not open at the moment, but when will it be reopening?
Decided just to open under green light. So who knows?
Okay, so we're waiting for the green light for the gin bar to be reopened. And then maybe we need to have a little suggestion trip to come and visit Chris. And hey, Chris, have you got one of those garden gins hanging around somewhere that we can sample?
I might have one in my cupboard.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is great. See, asking you shall receive. Yeah. Hey, Chris, it has been fabulous talking to you. I've just realised what the time is now, and I've taken up more than the time that I had asked for. So I really need to let you get on with your evening. But thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate the opportunity to ask some questions. And of course, we all love the gin. As you saw in some of the comments that I sent through to you, people are really enjoying it. They're loving the spiciness that you've been able to bring into it. And yeah, I think you've got some real genuine fans here. And I think they're quite loving it. I know one of our members got a bottle of your barrel aged for Christmas, and she has not yet opened it. But we know what she has in store for her, so we're very excited for her to be able to open that. I think did I tell you that, Chris? We did a corporate tasting just before Christmas, and we had your barrel aged in it, and people just loved it. So that was really great one, because I always like to try and put some sort of a barrel aged type gin in there for people that like whiskey, and then say to them, hey, but the water's fine over on the gin side of the world. Come and try this. So yeah, I think I swayed some of the whiskey drinkers with your barrel age. So thank you for that. That was very helpful.
Thanks for the support.
Yeah, you're really welcome. All right, so everybody, thank you so much for joining us this evening. It has been fabulous. It's been a little bit different, hasn't it? And hopefully we will be able to have Chris on again when we nudge, nudge, wink, wink, have perhaps a barrel age in our tasting box in the near future. That'd be nice. A little winter sipper, I feel. That would be lovely, wouldn't it, everyone? Absolutely lovely. All right, Chris, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you again next time. And obviously, everybody, there is Read and Read on our website available to you, but also you can go directly to Read and Read and get your gin straight from there. And Chris, have you got anything else that people need to know about you guys?
No, I think you've covered it pretty well.
We can always get messages out to them anyway if you think of anything. So, yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Chris, and we will see you next time.
See ya. Thanks, Al.
See ya. All right, everybody. That's been a little bit different, hasn't it? A little Q&A session instead of our normal live tasting. So 3 distillers, 15 minutes was supposed to be the idea. I perhaps went over time a little bit. Which I apologize for. So I'm going to let you guys carry on with your evenings as well. Thank you for joining me this evening and our having our Q&A. It's been really wonderful. And I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Your new tasting schedule, your live tasting schedule should be out by the weekend. As you probably heard when I was talking with Andrew, we're still finalizing those dates for you, but we will have the dates out to you ASAP. All right, fantastic. Thanks everyone for joining us, and I will see you next time. Ka kite anō.